Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to my, I'd say about 2-month review of the KW V3 coilovers on my Alfa Romeo Giulia TI Sport Q4. So essentially, like I said, I've had the coilovers installed now for about 2 months, probably a little bit over 2 months, and I have absolutely driven the heck out of these coilovers in this car. One, because I needed to, but also because I wanted to thoroughly test this suspension before I moved myself and this car overseas to Germany and put it to the real test, which I can't wait, you know, go on the Nürburgring and the Autobahn and all the tracks that I can get this car on, you know, once I'm over there. But anyway, let's get back to the review. So, this is a 2-part review. The first part was me, the first time I took this car with this suspension to Autocross. I'm going to play that for you shortly. I had installed the suspension 48 hours earlier. I'd taken it on a quick shakedown drive, and then I went to Autocross, and believe it or not, I placed first in my class, believe it or not, on these all-season Lexani tires, which are not performance tires by any stretch of the imagination. I am a seasoned autocrosser. I'm not new to the sport. However, I'm nowhere close to being an expert, and I was at a steep disadvantage because I was on all-season tires. And this car, this chassis and the suspension still pulled out a first-place win. I'll go ahead and play that for you guys. What's up, y'all? We're out here at Autocross in the beautiful San Antonio with the Saska Autocross Club. I think that stands for San Antonio Sports Car Association, I believe. But anyway, so this is the official first Autocross with the Giulia, with the KW V3 full suspension. You can see it shining in there. So this is the first time I'll be autocrossing the car with the suspension on. I think over the past couple days I've gotten everything to where I like it exactly. I've played with damping and rebound a bunch to see the settings that I like, and I like it stiffer in the rear, especially for when we go on trips and we have luggage in the rear, or if we have passengers and stuff like that. But both front and rear are pretty stiff. I don't have the exact specifications on hand, but I read the manual. I've been playing around with it, and I think for today we're not going to touch rebound or damping at all if we don't have to. I'm just going to play around with tire pressure, because tire pressure, if you know anything about autocross is all about tires, right? Tread wear and tire pressure. And tire pressure also has the effect of stiffening whatever part of the suspension that stiffening or softening whatever part of the suspension the tire is on. So if you want more grip in the front, more grip in the rear, usually you soften you lower the PSI. If you want less grip, you raise the PSI past whichever sweet spot PSI gives you optimal grip. But anyway, that's a bunch of nerdy autocross talk. We're out here just to really shake down the suspension, make sure that everything is in working order, there's no problems, and really to see how the suspension feels on the car. Now, I've put, you know, a couple hundred miles on the suspension already. In that short time, believe it or not, I drove it around. I've been driving it fairly aggressively, really aggressively actually, but that was just on public roads. So I'll be able to come out here and really put it to a handling test to see how well she does. So we will be racing novice today. You know, I know that I'm not a novice to autocross. However, in this car with this setup, definitely a novice. The tires that I have on here are some very pedestrian Lexani LX20 ultra high performance tires. These are great tires for daily driving with occasional sportiness on the street. However, for anything else, they are not the tires. So by no means am I expecting to come out here and walk away with any trophies or even third places at all. You know, maybe fifth if I'm lucky, to be honest with you. you know, so I'm not set up to do any real competing. Like I said, I'm out here really just to shake down the car and see how everything goes. But she's shined up, she's looking really good. This KW suspension, if you've been following me on Instagram, you know that this KW suspension has been absolutely amazing. Every day that I drive this car, it feels like a brand new car when I first put it on the car. And depending on your rebound and damper settings, this can go from like a Cadillac or like an Audi, or, you know, like a BMW type feeling, very solid, all the way to like a Ferrari challenge car if you go all the way stiff. So I really like the KW setup, really competent, if you ask me. Very well engineered and designed. I think I got the height set up the way I like it. I did go and get an alignment the other day after I set up the height the way I wanted it. The front turn in is great. The nose and the wheel wants to turn in very sharply. And because I have all-wheel drive, the car allows, in race mode, the car allows the tail to kick out just enough to get the right angle of attack, if you will, and then engages the Q4 all-wheel drive system. So the Q4 all-wheel drive system on these cars continues to impress me. It's very competent, and it's a very good all-wheel drive system. But we're about to do the novice walkthrough and walk through the course and make sure that we know the course. For those of you new to autocross or thinking about it, always walk the course anytime you can. As many times as you can before the actual competition. It actually pays dividends to get here early and do it if you can. But that's what we're about to do, and then we'll put this GoPro on the helmet. Got my little helmet cam set up right there, and we'll see how she does. All right, y'all. There's all sorts of cool cars out here, y'all. Check out this GTR that we got out here. Got this tricked out Mustang, more Mustangs, Corvettes, S2000s. It's a typical autocross crowd. These are all generally well handling, easy to set up cars. The neon SRT4 right there. He's running street modified front wheel drive. Pontiac G8, that's nice. LS in it. LS derived motor. Got a sweet Hyundai Veloster N over there. Corvette C7 Z06 right here. It's a beautiful car. Oh, can't forget the GT350 we've got right here, but check this thing out. That's absolutely beautiful. Look at that. And look at this RX-7 right here. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous RX-7. Cayman S. I believe this is an S. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. It might be a GT4. I don't think so, but it's a Cayman S, I believe. And that is a beautiful car. It looks like it's on 20-inch rims, maybe. Let's see, what is it? Yep, it's a Cayman S. Beautiful, beautiful car. The rims look a little oversized. Let's see, what is that, a 20? Yeah, it's a 20-inch wheel. Kind of dwarfs that caliper in there. I don't know if these are the stock Cayman S wheels or what. But that is a beautiful, beautiful car. Absolutely. I'm sure he's going to have a lot of fun whipping that thing around. So, all right, last car, y'all, I promise. Check out this sick Mini Cooper, John Cooper Works GP, I think that's what it's called. I'm not really familiar with the minis. This thing is absolutely nuts. It's beautiful. 255 RT 660s all around. That's the new Falcon Autocross competition entry tire, if you will. Look at that. Stripped out bucket seats. Look at that dash. This thing is crazy. You can tell this person, this guy or gal, has put a lot of effort and work into this car. Absolutely beautiful. I bet you this thing rips. Is this yours? Yeah. This is beautiful.
It's every day I'm doing something new to it.
I'm sure, yeah.
I'm trying to see in my class. I want to replace all this
yeah.
with sand.
Oh, okay, for lighter weight, yeah.
You race here though, right?
No, I've been one time.
And there's okay, that was the one time I saw you.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, exactly. But
yeah, this thing's. I'm racing this class, but I'm 500 pounds overweight compared to all of them.
Oh,
but I'll always be in the top 3.
There we go. Hell yeah! How do you like the new tires, or the RT660? Yeah.
They're a little heavier than my Yokos.
Okay.
But they're $300 cheaper.
Okay. What were you were on the AO52 or something?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But I wore them out.
Yeah.
And this tire, I used to have 4 of these, but these ones are 3.5 pounds lighter, so I'm gonna buy 2
of
those.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I've got it down from $28.95 down to $2,700.
Okay.
Now I want to get it down to like $2,500.
There we go.
But
There we go. We'll see.
I mean, I just put race seats in it.
I see. I was looking at those.
I
Wow.
didn't have things for them, so I found these mock Schnells that are BMWs.
Right. Wow. Check that out.
Drill a special hole back here and thread
Yeah.
it, so it attaches the back, but it fits perfect now.
That's awesome.
That was another 50 pounds on it.
Hey, there we go. That's beautiful. Beautiful setup, man. I'll be looking for you out there.
Hopefully in second.
There we go. Thank you. All right, y'all, so the first run is done. I went with an instructor on that lap just to kind of, you know, take note of the car and my driving as well, and, you know, give me some pointers as to what he thought. Said everything was fine. These tires, they really suck for autocross. They're a great tire for everyday driving, but for autocross, they are just not the tire. I mean, I knew this coming into it, and that's why I didn't expect to be competitive at all. But you can really feel the body roll, I'm sorry, the tire flex. You can really feel the tire flex with these Lexanis. But believe it or not, didn't get the slowest time out there, so that's great. Came in at a 50. Fastest time of the day is a 41 second course. I completed it in 50 seconds on my first go, so we'll get a little bit faster. Hopefully we'll break the 50 barrier, should. My personal goal is to break the 48 second barrier. If I can do that, great. If not, still great, because I know it's not the car, it's the tire. Really, autocross is all about tires. But anyway, car feels great. The transitions are great. The steering is great. There's a little bit of body roll present, but not too much. Honestly, I can't tell if it's body roll or if it's just the tire sidewall flexing. Oh yeah, okay, gotta go. So with my first run down, I really started to just mess with tire pressure, and I realized that with these specific Lexanis, which are a softer sidewall kind of tire because they're a commuter tire, higher tire pressures tend to give me a better responding vehicle, and just it's easier to get around the track. So I think I finally settled around 37 front PSI, and I think 39 or 40 PSI in the rear. I was also trying to just get accustomed to the track as well. So your first like 2 or 3 runs, usually during an autocross competition, are really just going to be getting familiarity down, and then you don't get fast usually till about the end. Once again, still getting familiar with the layout of the course as well as the car here, but I'm starting to get more and more familiar and more comfortable with the handling of the car, the alignment, the way the tires react, and also the way the body rolls. One big thing that you'll notice throughout all these runs is I'm experimenting with the shifting of the car and the gearing. The Giulia isn't the best car for autocross because it has some long gears, or long feeling gears, so I'm kind of trying to see whether or not it's beneficial to stay in second gear or third gear, where to shift in between the two, but I'm starting to get there. As you can see, the car is cornering very, very flat, and honestly, the only roll, I believe, is due to the tires, but getting faster. So for my second to last run, I wanted the help of a national autocross champion to give me some advice on my driving. One thing about autocross, just with any other hobby, is that no matter how good you think you are, you can always get better. I unfortunately don't remember this gentleman's name, but he's very competent, has a very fast supercharged CRX, and he comes out here and usually lays down the fastest times of the day at any competition he's at. And he was kind of giving me pointers as to where my turn-in points needed to be, and just basically how I needed to align the car. And at the end of it, he complimented me and said that I was already there. I had everything down. I just needed to make little refinements. I really enjoyed this guy and thank him for coming along with me. It was an honor to have him ride along.
What's that?
Aaron, you're gonna have a rerun.
Hey!
Because I'm pretty sure you didn't turn in a 38.8.
No, we ran a 27.
Right, I know. Okay, so we're back. So yeah, as you guys could see, I went into that expecting not even to place third or fourth, but fifth. And as the day went on, as my runs went on, I got faster and faster, which is natural for anybody, on the track or doing autocross. And I pulled off a first place win. So huge kudos to KW and their very, very competent suspension. And obviously huge kudos to the wonderful chassis, this Giulia chassis that the Alfa Romeo sits on. Anyway, let's talk about the times since then. So like I said, I've been driving on this car for a little over 2 months, and I just completed a let's see, it's 1,600 miles one way from Central Texas to Orlando, Florida. So I just completed 1,600 times 2, a 3,200 mile round trip to Florida and back with this car. 5 people in this car, trunk full of luggage, all on these KW V3s. And let me tell you what, this suspension couldn't be any better. I mean, this car is absolutely supple and light on its feet when you need it to be. It's nice and hefty and has a good gravity and weight about it when you need it to be comfortable and just cruise. It's almost like the suspension knows what you're doing with the car and adapts to how the car is being used. Even though this is not the electronic version, these are not the adjustable dampers by any means. These are the standard coilovers that are manually adjusted, both ride height, damping, and rebound, but they absolutely respond to what the car is doing. So high speed compression, meaning you're going over very sharp terrain and the wheel is moving up and down at a high rate. The dampers and the springs work perfectly. Low speed compression, which means the wheel is moving up and down gradually. The dampers and the springs work absolutely perfectly. Yes, I have adjusted both front and rear damping and rebound as I've gone along and as time has gone by. you know, just to get a feel for things. I've experimented and tinkered around, and I think I've got it now at a setting where I like it. I personally like stiffer cars. You know, I come from, you know, front wheel drive tuner cars with stiff suspensions. I like that because it provides a more responsive driving experience and a more engaging driving experience. And this is a sports sedan, so I like that personally. So I have the suspension set to the stiffer end of the spectrum. However, you can take this all the way to the softer end of the spectrum, and this thing will ride like a Cadillac or an Audi, you know, a very fine-tuned German car. So I really like the suspension because you have that dynamic range. You can go from very pedestrian, very soft, you know, feeling suspension that still gives you confidence behind the wheel, all the way to, you know, like I've said earlier, but before, the Ferrari challenge car, very, very responsive, very tight feeling, which I kind of have it at now. One quick mention that I will mention to anybody who is planning on doing suspension modifications like this to the Giulia is, I harp on this on all the videos about suspension, but make sure you have adjustable rear and rear toe and camber arms. You are going to need to align your suspension anytime you do a change as big as this. Even if you're just doing springs, the alignment is just as important, if not more important than anything else. You can have the best tires on the car, you can have the best suspension on the car, but if your alignment is off, the car will drive like crap, it'll ride like crap, and you'll wear out your tires. So I did spend some money on several alignments because not only did the car settle in, right, so it dropped a little bit, not as much as springs, but it settled a little bit. But, you know, I played around with alignment settings, and I got my car aligned probably 2 times since I've installed the coilovers, just to make sure that everything was perfect and within specifications. And I'm telling you what, she drives absolutely beautifully and amazingly. I get compliments all the time about the stance of this car and how she looks, how she sits. I mean, it's just so aggressive. It sits so much better than with the springs. And like I said in the first video, the initial review, you know, when I got in this car after installing the suspension, you could just feel the quality of the KWs. Like, now I see why they cost what they cost and why people invest in a suspension like this, because it really is like an OEM plus suspension. It's like I upgraded, versus, you know, sometimes springs or cheaper coilovers can feel more like a downgrade than an upgrade. This truly was in every aspect an upgrade, not only appearance-wise and aesthetically, but also performance-wise and handling-wise. And this is the only suspension I'll ever have to put on this car. I really sleep well knowing that I won't ever have to replace or install another suspension on this car. This will do everything that I need it to do. You know, and years from now, I may end up, you know, having the dampers renewed, if you will. And KW is in Germany, which is where I will be going. So, you know, years and years from now, if I do need to have something maintenance, I can always send the dampers or the springs in to KW and have them renew it, send it back, and it'll be like a whole new suspension. But I'll never have to purchase an entirely new suspension for this car, which is a great, it's just great peace of mind. You know, you can't really put any price on peace of mind. You can go on YouTube and look up the other reviews of the KWs and look at, I think there's a video of a guy who had an NSX with KWs, and he had the same set of KW shocks and springs on his car for 12 years. And he took them off. They were still in good condition. He sent them to KW to get, you know, renewed, and they sent him back, and it was, and the car is good for a whole nother, you know, 12 or 15 years. So, you know, that just is a testament to the quality of the suspension. And I can go on and on about it. I drive this car every day. She's a daily. She's my kind of my weekend fun, you know, Canyon Carver Autocross track day car. She sees miles every single day. So I'm very in tune with how she reacts, how she drives, and what she does. And it's just, it is probably the single best comprehensive upgrade I've done to this car, right? So yes, race mode was a great upgrade. The Squadra Tune, great upgrade. Getting better tires than the factory tires, great upgrade. But those things only affected their respective areas, power, grip, whatever. The suspension affects absolutely everything of the car. The appearance, the way the car puts down the power, the handling, the grip. This was the single best comprehensive upgrade I have done to this car to date. And if I could do it all again, I would do it all again in the same order. That way I appreciate this suspension. So huge thumbs up to KW. And Alpha 9 Supply, once again, thanks so much for getting these to me as fast as you did. Months way before the deadline that I needed them here by. And very easy installation and suspension. And those of you wondering how to install these on your car, I made an entire installation video. You guys can go check that out. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my review. These, like I said, I'll restate it, these KWs are awesome. I love the fact that they have that dynamic range. They can be really soft, or they can go all the way up to being track car stiff if you need be. I know I get questioned a lot about the KWs. Are they worth the money, and are they worth it over springs? Listen, I get it. Not everybody wants to drop close to $3,000 on an aftermarket coilover suspension, and then especially if you're not going to install it yourself because you don't have the know-how or the tools, which is fine. You're looking at another $1,500 minimum for somebody to install this, and then on top of an alignment. So I understand springs are a more accessible and more feasible option for a lot of people. And my answer is this: if you're going to keep the car a long time or forever, you're planning on keeping the car forever, nobody can predict the future, but you're planning on keeping the car forever, this is the way to go. Save your money from the springs, save up your money, your allowance for a couple of months, and buy the KWs. Trust me, you will thank yourself every single time you get in the driver's seat. I promise you. It is a better driving experience than anything that Giulia has to offer stock. And the stock suspension is made in Germany, believe it or not. Take off your stock shocks and read them. They're made in Germany, just like the KWs are. They are 100% worth the money. And the fact that the KWs, don't quote me, but I believe they have a lifetime warranty on top of that, or a very good warranty. I mean, that's just the icing on the cake. Springs are great on this car. I had springs for about 6 months, maybe less, maybe 4 or 5 months. Springs are a great temporary option, but I will tell you this: they will prematurely wear out your shocks. That happened to me. I started to have a little bit of shock failure. I was getting noise from a rear shock, and that's just because the spring rate on the springs and the height that it lowers the car to, the shocks are not tuned for long-term heavy-duty use in that range. So springs are great for a temporary option. However, long-term, and if you're using this as a family car, if you frequently have a full car, springs are not the way to go. If you're leasing the car, or if you're only going to own it for a couple years and then offload it, yeah, sure, whatever. Throw in some springs. You might have to replace a rear shock or two. Who cares, right? Because that's pennies on the dollar at that point in time. But if you're like me, if you're going to invest time and energy into your car and you plan on keeping it, man, I'm telling you, the KWs are worth absolutely every single penny. But anyway, y'all, as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. Those of you loyal followers and viewers, thank you so much. Please like and subscribe. Please comment. Let me know what you think about the car. If you got any questions, suspension, whatever, let's talk about it. You guys can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. I'm going to do my best to keep the content coming as often as possible, especially when this car goes to Germany, when we move over to Europe. There will be about a 2-month break. I'm sorry for that. It takes 2 months to get this car shipped all the way over to Germany. But as soon as she touches ground and I get her cleared and everything by the Germans and stuff like that, the first thing I'm gonna do is take her on the Autobahn, and you all will know that because there will be a video titled, you know, Q4 Giulia top speed on the Autobahn. And I'm gonna try to go on the Nürburgring and maybe make it down to Italy and go on Monza and all those great circuits and those great tracks. And any of you all in Europe that are watching, please let me know. Let's meet up. Let's have an Alfa meet. Let's do things. You know, we're a big worldwide community, and let's, you know, let's go ahead and make some fun times. So until next time, thanks for watching, y'all. Stay safe.